Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Inspire. I am your host, Shaw Hayes, and to the left or right of me, or whichever way you're looking, is CEO and founder of Inspire. We're so excited to have our guest with us today to talk about his journey. Jamar Scarborough is a protective service officer and master technician. He's actually provided protective services for our forever First Lady Michelle Obama, as well as other celebrities. So we wanted to kind of tackle and what makes a person want to dive into becoming a protective service officer as well as a master technician and find out actually what that is. So without further ado, welcoming Jamal Scarborough. Hello, and
Oh,
happy Thursday.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
like to
for
call
having
it Friday Eve, actually.
me. Okay.
I like Friday Eve. Jamar, it's such an honor to have you with us today.
It's such an honor to be here.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. We're ready to jump right in. Shah,
Let's
take it
go.
away.
So, when we were talking about having you on the show, I always think about being a service and what that means to others. And I always said to myself, the most I've ever done was be an usher at church. You are someone who actually stands in front of people as fists can be blown, a throne, and someone who may actually want to do harm to someone. What made you decide that this is the career you wanted to take on?
Honestly, I was dead broke
Mm,
and I had to do something quick because this is not my first profession. So this is my second profession. This became my second profession. So I was dead broke. I had to do something quick. And I said, let me jump into security.
mm.
But being that I'm college educated, I'm an engineer, I'm not just going to be a security guard. So when I jumped into this field, I jumped into it to take it all the way and take it to the top, like I think I did.
So when you say well, let's I guess take a step back in terms of your first career profession, and you said you went to school for engineering. So was that your first career profession, or was it something prior to that?
No, that's my first career.
Okay.
Yes,
So how, and
network.
you would assume that people think engineers is illustrious profession, and you would have jobs coming out of everywhere. How did you get from a job that people presumably has that kind of establishment in terms of career profession to becoming broke?
Well, people never mix the two. So
Hmm.
you always got to revert back to first and foremost, yes, I'm a network engineer, was a network engineer for 22 years for the Westchester local government in Westchester County, New York. I engineered all three counties above New York City to Connecticut line and also Rockland County until you get to Jersey. For the people that's in Jersey, that's the backside of Jersey, like going to Route 17. So, you know, life happens. I went through a divorce and that divorce bill was crazy. And that's what happened. Like I was done, gone, lost everything, was no hope. And I just jumped into security head first.
So security. So you went from that transition into that. I mean, it seemed like you probably had some thinking like, all right, well, what could I do? So security being, like you said, the thoughts you said that you wanted to do and not be something that's just like security at a club. So how did it go from the graduation of like, all right, I want to do security. So, but how does that look like, but without being the version of security that you did not want to do?
Yes, well, I started in the clubs. I
Okay.
started at the bottom, at the worst. I started, yes. You just don't jump and you think you're gonna be here. People get it. It's such a misunderstood field. Uh, you're gonna start. You're gonna do grunt work.
Hmm.
It's up to you to stay there. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm college education. I got engineering licenses, and now I got a security license. And no disrespect to the field and the starters or the people who say that, but I'm gonna say this: am I gonna be the security guard in the store at Kmart, or am I gonna be what's in front of you right now?
And that's a good decision you had to make for yourself. So tell us about your first experience having to do that and what that was like, and where were you at the time when you was, securing a location?
Um, my first security job, I jumped right into the fire. They took me to. It was the hottest club at one time in New York City. It was Sin City.
Really?
Yes, it was the hottest club, and of course, I'm not the biggest person in the world. So you working with giants, and you're coming in and just like, okay, what are you here for? So you take it on the chin. You take your disses. You take everything, and you just don't let it bother. Your goal. And we got into a situation, and they seen that I can handle myself, and then it just was head nods, and
Right.
the head nods became smiles, and the smiles became pounds and daps, and the pounds and daps became, okay, you all right.
So then once after you realize, okay, this is great, this is nice, but what else is there for me? Like, when did you realize I need more? I want more than just this.
I knew that you can go further in what I was doing. Plus, I wasn't gonna be, again, no disrespect, because I got a lot of brothers in the field. Um, I wasn't gonna be in a nightclub every night.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the plan. That wasn't a goal. Then also, again, we revert back to, this is not my first profession. I am an engineer, so I do got a day job, right? So I can't be in war at night and I got to go to work in a day. It don't match,
Yeah.
right?
You have to turn
So
the switch off really hard. Yeah.
yes. So now here comes the educational part. Now we're gonna seek the education of this field. So now I just start seeking out the best schools, the executive protection schools. Um, I did um, the citizens, the whole police academy for regular people in New York City. I did that. I did every executive protection school that you can name up. I went away. I went to Colorado. I went to LA. I went to Tennessee. I went everywhere they was giving it. And by working, you save your money because the schools are not cheap. And
So
then
let me ask that question about that, because and explain also the executive protection classes in schools and what they entail and why it's important to go to different states to get them.
um, each executive protection course offer different things. You
Mm-hmm.
might have a celebrity, you might have a VIP, you might got a dignitary. It's so many different levels of executive protection. You might have an executive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's so many different levels, but you have to get all of the education and put it into your own pot and mix it yourself and make the best out of what you have.
So does different states have different things because of the state laws, or is
No,
it
no,
okay?
no.
Okay, so it's just basically a variation that you saying that the courses themselves, as far as what they offer, could be different, and then from there you glean from whatever you needed to.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So now with that, when you get those certifications in those different classes, are you automatically being able to get licensed in firearm and from those courses, or you that's something separate as well?
Something separate, but you jump. That's a great question. Since you're on that path, that is necessary. So you start applying.
Hmm.
You start applying for all the states that you can. Like right now, I'm off the top of my head, I think I'm licensed in 43.
Yeah, I literally was looking at your page and it was like, what?
Yeah,
This is still going?
yeah, I think 43 states, and the other ones, I think, because uh, you're from Maryland,
Maryland.
so we gonna say it Maryland. That's how we say it. Maryland is
Right.
hard. DC hard. Um, Los Angeles is hard, and I think that's why I don't have those. I just was like,
You like, I got them in other places.
yeah,
That's important to you.
yes.
So, when I think back in terms of like you going to school as a child, I'm assuming you probably had aspirations for various things. Like when you were growing up, was that, Had it ever been in the back of your mind to do something like this? Had something in your childhood provided you some sense of like service? And although you went to school for engineering, had anything at your childhood kind of mentally said, I may go into that direction at some point?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, I'm from the Eastern Shore of Virginia, the peninsula on the Chesapeake Bay. I'm from on the Eastern Shore. I'm from Painter.
Okay.
So growing up, we grew up, I'm from South Accomack. I'm from south of the county of Accomack. So the people in Accomack, we worked
Mm.
as small children. So I worked in fields. I picked cucumbers for 30 cent a basket. Strawberry quartz, 25 cent a basket. String beans was $3 a basket. I cut squash. I cut greens. I worked in potato graders. I worked in tomato graders. I worked in graders loading tractor trailer trucks. Back then, it wasn't no conveyor belts to load the trucks, so humans had to do that. So we formed a chain gang. We loaded those tractor trailer trucks, whether it was 50, 55, or 60-foot trucks. So you make your hustle the best way you can. I had my own grass cutting business since third grade. So
Wow.
I worked very hard as a child my whole life. And I knew one thing: we not working hard as a grown man. That was my inspiration.
You was like, I don't like. I'm like, this is fun and all. Get these
Yeah.
quarters, but
Yes.
but no.
Something we are by far the Eastern Shore, of Virginia. The people there, we are the hardest working people
I
out.
can believe it. Well,
I say that.
well,
Stamp it.
you're raised in a part of a town probably more industrial where you had to do things on your own. There wasn't, like you said, conveyor belts, so things were being manually done. Like there
Yes.
wasn't a whole lot of convenience to things. So, and
Yeah.
that kind of established your mentality to want to be in a position where you were working hard, and then
Yes.
wasn't settling for just that job that's going to just get you just by. So when you think about like all of that and what that provided you, what would be something you could say growing up that kind of gave you in terms of wanting to like pursue just career options?
I just knew I wasn't gonna do manual labor and hard labor.
Hmm.
I didn't have a plan. I did not have a plan.
You did
I
not.
was no in school. I was a class clown. If you told me, if you rewind back to high school and told me I would be this now, I would laugh at you.
Really?
If you told me at Jamar Scarborough, you're gonna take it all the way to a master's degree, you know, you're gonna have 3 engineering licenses, networking, telecommunications, and radio. I do have my
Wow.
engineering license in all 3.
Wow.
You tell me I was gonna be a professional personal protection specialist. If you tell me I was gonna be a protective service officer for the federal government, I would be like, yeah, right. Because
Really?
everything was, well, with anything, as a youth, everything's a game.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about life. That's the one thing that you hear your teacher say, which is real, and the young people should know. I had one of my brothers home, his mother, Miss Bunton. The phrase she said, it came true. Like me and her talk later. The phrase she said to me came through when I was 30 years old. She was like, "Boy, don't you know everything you do is gonna follow you for the rest of your life?"
Yeah.
But you're telling a elementary school kid this. He doesn't.
And that's before the internet.
Yeah. He doesn't see beyond third grade. He's not
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I got you. I'm worrying about when I get grown right now. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm worrying about cutting up right now. That's what I'm worried about. But when I was 30, I got hired by the CIA. My college, I went to ECPI University, 2-time graduate there. They are the biggest provider for the ABC authorities for the government. So
Mhm.
they always come back, they hold job fairs. So going to ECPI, you must maintain a 3.0 to get there.
Mm.
So they always look back to their graduates to come. I was hired in 06 by the CIA. And going through that process, I was temporary on, and going through that process, in the hiring process, you know what they had in front of me?
What's that?
My school referrals.
Wow.
Guess who I was thinking about when I was going through that process?
This woman who told you to get something to
I
follow
was
you.
thinking about Mrs. Bunton saying, "Boy, don't you know everything you do is going to follow you for the rest of your life?" Now here I am, 30 years old, and they're talking to me about referrals that I received when I was in school, and I'm sitting here, like, this is a job.
Why does it matter? Yeah.
What does this matter?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm blown away. But I understand the process now.
And it's one of those things you had to learn because, I mean, although in the moment you didn't, but
Yes.
you had to get it, even though it took that long to get into that position. But so when you're leaving from the Virginia area and then you realizing, okay, I got to get some point in my life, I got to figure it out. Going into these schools and getting to that point, had it been easy enough for you to just say, okay, I got to buckle down? Like, when did the light bulb go off and say, all right, I got to stop being the class clown and, buckle down and really focus on my studies? Had you always been a great student, but just like to play a lot?
When I graduated high school, it was like, what next? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So I tried the Army. That didn't work out. That didn't work out. So coming back home, I had nowhere to go. So I immediately enrolled in school. And I just took it day by day. And as I was going to school, I started liking it.
So you didn't have an appreciation of it when you were younger.
No.
Like, you wasn't like studying books and in class and raising hand.
No.
It came like more of a survival thing now. Like, I gotta show up for myself.
I was a student going to my teacher saying, "Look, what do I need to get out of here?" Because we was happy with season. We just was again, is the play format, because you don't know how serious life is down the road. You don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't, right?
Yeah.
You learn that going through your journey. Like, if I had applied myself like this in school, I could have had a scholarship. Now I wouldn't have this college bill.
Yeah.
So you learn your lessons. You learn your lessons as you're going through it. But that's the best part. The journey is the best. The journey is the part that's fun.
Part of it.
That's the best part. You can't take that away from me
at all. And that's one of the things why, I try not to say the word mistake, because part of your life is to go through things and learn from them. I mean, we want to call it that, but I think always look at them as lessons. Like, what was probably one of the greatest lessons you learned through that process of getting to that point where you realize, okay, it's time for me to really show up for myself? What was the thing you think you took from all of that?
You have one in at ECPI, you have one educational probation.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is serious, if your grade drops, because you must maintain a 3.0, if it dropped to 2.99, you pulled in that president's office. And they tell you one more time, you're gone. And all I thought about was, what am I gonna do? If I get kicked out of school, what am I gonna do? That's all and I had great role models, like my cousin who's like a big brother to me, my cousin Kip. He was on me hard, man. Like, Jake, don't quit. You got it. You can do this. And I'm just like, again, me being who I was, you make yourself study. I understand. So it wasn't like, things are not natural. They don't come to me like that. So in studying, I'm the student that got to read it 1,000 times. I got a great lesson that I learned. I recorded myself talking and then letting it play back to myself. So it's a process with me sponging and holding things in. It's not like I can go to a lesson and not pay attention and I got it. Nah, I have to work. I have to work for my grade. So putting in that much work, it becomes, it's like, okay, this is for real.
And you spoke about people who were there to help you and guide you. Who else in your friend circle, family, friends along the way that you came across that did push you and guide you and mentor you throughout that time?
Oh well, first and foremost, let me not forget. First and foremost, my father told me that I can do anything I wanted to do in life, that I can be anything I wanted to be in life if I just put my mind to it and applied it. What he didn't believe, I really believed that back then. I still believe it now, as in my accomplishments mirror that. So that's first and foremost. Like, I had a father that instilled that in me, that you can be anything you want to be. Now, also, my grandfather, his father, my grandfather talked in riddles. You know, he was just like, you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Or when it's all said and done, we gonna see what's what. So that means you can claim you're doing this, you can claim you're doing that. If you want to exaggerate it, God bless you. But when it's all said and done, the truth is gonna be the truth.
Yeah.
You can't stop that. So and you just had, I had great great mode. My Aunt Boo was another one as a child. You know, it's 20 of us on a BMX bike and she calling your name. She's like, because my middle name is Veron. So my family calls me JV, Jamar Veron, for it. So JV. And she'll yell like, JV, come here. And you be like, we on these bikes. What do you want? And you get up there, you be like, what's up? What do you want to be when you grow up? You like, wait, what?
That's what you called me for.
Now watch the gym. When I ride away with my friends and we on a bike, what am I thinking about?
What's she asking you?
What do I want to be when I grow up?
Right.
So those are just little silent jewels.
Yeah.
That you get. And again, back to my cousin Kip, he always told me as a teenager, he just was like, you're gonna be that dude in the family. He said, you just don't know it yet. He said, but I'm telling you, I see it. You're gonna be that dude. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
But how much did that mean to you to have people who poured in you, especially when you didn't see it of yourself?
You don't get it. You don't get it then. You appreciate it now. Then it's just words.
Yeah.
Because it means nothing until you finish the break. Now that I done finished a lot of breaks, you reflect back on the words and be like, oh, that's what they meant. That's what it means. So you get it now, but of course you don't get it going through it.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming there had been a couple of challenges that probably faced you from school and after getting out of school. Was it any specific moment that you can recall that kind of really, made you say to yourself, is this worth it? Is it really worth me pursuing? Had you ever had that moment and how did you get through it?
No, I freestyle everything I do.
Okay.
I honestly, it's no plan. I could come off this interview right now and hit y'all in the background. It's like, yeah, how do I get into podcasting?
I love that, Doc.
Because I like what you do.
Yeah.
Then I'm not insecure. I would say, Shy, teach me what you do.
Okay. So you got a little swagger to you too.
It's
but
that
you're
simple.
also saying you just walking up to people talking about, Doc, I see you doing this open heart surgery.
Yes.
Tell me how to do that real quick. Like,
listen, I sent on some of the photos I sent to Kiana, I labeled them. A couple of them was me jumping into when I was on set. I tried directing. Because when you're on set, are you just gonna stay on set? Or are you gonna go around to everybody's job and learn?
Yeah.
So you learn. You ask, let me roll with you today. Let me see what you do. And some will teach you, some won't. But guess what? A closed mouth don't get fed. And that's a real statement. It's honest. And then, again, are you scared to raise your hand? Are you that student? You scared everybody's gonna laugh at you? Are you gonna try. I'm not afraid to fail. That's just
That's
first
a
and
good thing.
foremost.
That's a really good thing. But I know when I first started in this business, when I was doing various things with like being cooking and stuff like that, I remember a friend of ours that told another mutual friend of mine, "Why won't Shy just stay in one lane? It would be easier. She just does one thing." What do you say? Because I always challenge people, and I know what my response to that is. But what do you say to people who tell you, "Won't you just stay? Why you gotta be this and that and this and that too?"
You know what I'm gonna tell you? I can't tell you what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna tell you to do? Run.
Hmm.
Get away from them.
Hmm.
Don't let them dim your light. How are you telling me what I want to do and what I can do, what I can't do? If you get into hosting when you thought it, you got it,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Mm-hmm.
just didn't plan it out. You was like, you had a plan and you did it and you implemented it. You went for it. For someone to come and say, Shy, you really gonna be a host?
Yeah.
You don't want to. You get out of here. Beat it. You don't want to talk to them.
Yeah, but it's always a thing because people often feel like, I guess, going back to the sayings of like being a master of so, jack of all trades, master of none, because people often feel like you can't do multiple things, that there's not access to certain things that you can do. Like you found yourself going into protective services and getting more information. So it allowed you to expand by bigger than you put it ever versus some people like, no, I'm just going to stay here and that's it. You expanded yourself because you knew there was more out there.
Yes, and I wasn't afraid to fail. That's the key. But
Mm.
you know, again, how are they trying to tell you what you want to do? How are you telling me what's in my head? How are you telling me what thoughts I have? What thoughts I want to manifest? How are you telling me how my gears are going to turn? How are you telling me how I'm going to put oils on these gears? And how are you telling me how I'm going to keep these gears spinning? You can't tell me that. I can't tell me that until I do it.
Yeah.
So how are you telling me that? It's impossible.
And it's also living like you're still your life should still be about adventuring and exploring and finding out different things. As suppose, I mean, for some people they're regimented, they have to do the same thing every day and there's nothing they can deviate from that. But for others, you want to be able to see what else out there life has to offer besides, like you could have stayed in the engineering field and just say, I'm going to keep following that field and that be the end of it. But you allowed yourself to explore beyond that, and you're still growing because you're allowing yourself to do so, not standing back like you say you're being on set and someone saying or you asking the question. That's the other thing. So people are intimidated to even ask because one, we are afraid to hear the word no.
Is no going to kill you?
For people think that it will. Like they feel like.
That.
But do you feel like your confidence is what made you be able to just go out there and do it? Because not everyone has that.
My will.
Hmm.
I'm not going to quit. Period. I don't know what that word is. I don't know what that word is. I don't know what I want. Let me back up. I want you to tell me no.
Hmm.
I want you to tell me I can't do it. I want you to tell me I can't accomplish. You know how many times a door been slammed in my face? You knock again, and you keep knocking. It'll open up. But are you that person when it slams? Are you gonna put your head down and tuck your tail and run and be like, man, the door slammed in my face today? Or are you gonna keep knocking on me? I'm gonna knock on every door.
Yeah.
And then I might just stay by the door. Somebody, y'all got to come out. So, period.
I love that though. But I love because it's one of those things that not everyone has it because it's some things that I feel like we are intuitively have inside of us that either we have it or we don't. You could tell someone all day long, you should be this way. You should, ask the questions. But it's for those who will, advance in their careers and those who won't.
If,
So,
if you think it, you can achieve it.
yeah.
But you
I,
just gotta believe. You just gotta believe you can do it. Now
Mhm.
that's the hidden part.
That's
You
true.
have to believe. But if the thought is in your mind, it's already done. All you got to do is just try.
Hmm.
Simple. try.
But with that, I want to just jump in, and we have a couple of people watching. We have quite a few people watching, and we just want to do some shout outs to Selena. We have Sean Mears, Sherelle. She said inspiring. We have Willette. Thank you for watching. Jalon Ashby, great cousin. We also have Selena saying excellent job. We have Richard Dix. Thanks for watching. He says you are doing well, Jake. He's proud of you.
That's my uncle.
Uncle saying that he's proud of you.
That's
Thank you for joining, Uncle. We also have Brenda Pitts. Your strong sense of family tops everything, cuz.
That's my
These
cousin.
are such wonderful comments. We have someone else joining. Always humble, always working, always a go-getter, and always repping the shore.
Wow.
We have Ramona saying yes, always the class clown.
we was class clown in middle school together in a yearbook. I still have that picture.
Too funny. And we have Sean Mayer saying nice suit, and also that you're a hard worker. We also have Glitter Dreams saying hardest working man I know. So a lot of great comments here. I want to thank everyone who's joining and tuning into our show today. We do have one question, and that is, what was your biggest motivation to go higher on both careers?
I love to compete with myself. I'm not going to stay level. I want to see how, another phrase from my grandfather. Is sky the limit? And I tell you, do you think sky is the limit?
Are you asking the question of
yes.
the sky?
Do you think, because he asked me, I'm gonna pitch it.
I don't.
Do you think sky is the limit?
No.
Okay. Well, I did until he said this. Because the phrase is sky's the limit, right? We all know that phrase, right? So he says, how is sky's the limit when man has walked on the moon?
I love Granddad. Granddad was you should get like a book of just granddad isms, like all the things he's ever said.
I carry those riddles around with me too, and some of them are still figuring out, but I carry his riddles around because he'll throw you some lifelines.
Wow.
And you again, just getting them now.
But to me, when I hear stuff like that, that tells me the foundation of what build upon your confidence, because you can only come from genes and people who are connected to that, who can tell you and pour into you.
Come from hard workers.
Yeah.
Hard, just period. Hard workers. I'm sorry, I forgot to my people at the Crab House too. I worked at the Crab House my whole life, cracking claws.
Crab House. Where's the Crab House at?
On the Eastern Shore.
In the Eastern Shore.
Yeah, because y'all Maryland people try to claim that bay and try to claim, it's not, y'all are not the home of the blue crab. I'm sorry.
Listen, all I gotta say is come to the wharf.
No. Y'all get our scraps.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That blue crab is real where I'm from.
Really? Okay.
And Maryland people stop trying to claim it.
All I know is on our license plate. So there's that.
I was too though.
Okay. We'll take it. Listen, we'll have to have a crab off one day. So tell me about that, that ingrained portion of your life that you grew up in and being around in the Maryland DMV area, like how just having that kind of backdrop of your life influenced and impacted who you are today.
Correction. No. I'm from the Eastern Shore. So you have to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge that's on the other side of Tidewater County. Yeah. I'm not from DMV.
Well, it's still the M and the D.
That's on the side. We're not even connected to the state.
You don't have to tell me. I went to University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. Okay. And I used to always have to correct people and tell people when they would say you're from Maryland, I'm like, no, it's different, because it is different. We have there's a different kind of vibe. There's a different kind of,
it is,
kind of energy about it.
We're gonna correct that quick. I'm not from DMV.
Okay.
I'm from the shore. I'm from the Bay. Born and raised. Proud of it.
Don't even claim it.
Don't skip that.
Okay.
I I take that personal too.
Oh, listen, I'm going to accept that too. So you can't say Maryland with me anymore. That so give me that in terms of your upbringing. And I know you talked about being the hard worker, but I know that in certain parts of that area, it's even like today, I always say my first racial experience was down in Eastern Shore. Like I had
Yes.
my most first encounter, but I was like the oblivious child thinking that was back in the day. Ain't nobody racist no more. And I was on a boardwalk and a woman refused to serve me when I was down there. So explain to me the backdrop of your life growing up there.
That's there. We from the South. That's just like walking out the door. That's nothing strange to us. Racism is a part of our life. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on the Eastern Shore. To this day too.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's nothing new or strange. That's something you live with. You live with every day. That's part of your life. Racism is.
Well, just not so much of that, but just like were you with any parts of your life growing up in that area? I guess part of who your identity is today. Like other than the hardworking, which you see today, is it because you say there's a distinction of the DMV? What makes it so distinctive?
Because we're the hardest working people. That's what makes us distinctive. Did you
You
hear?
like
Let me run it down again. It's because DMV people didn't do this. You didn't work any fields.
Okay. Okay.
You didn't work at the crab house. You didn't.
Okay.
You didn't work at the clam house. You didn't work at the oyster house. I did those things.
Okay.
Right?
So specifically that.
I did those things.
So all of
that molded me. That molded Jamar. That molded what you see. The hard work and the types of work that we had to do, that molded what you see today. So that's the difference when you say where I'm from and, oh, you're from Virginia. No, I'm not from Virginia. We're not even part of the state. Let's just say that. We're from the Eastern Shore of. That of is big.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That molded me. Growing up, the way we grew up and working as hard as we work. And plus, my mother's family is big. So my first cousins, we grew up like brothers and sisters first and foremost. And I grew up with both sets of my grandparents. I grew up with my great grandparents also. So I grew up with a very loving and big family. Again, grandparents of both. I lived with my father's mother also when she got sick. So my father got me to move in. So that's family is a big part of my life.
So
very family oriented.
Well, and I was going to say in terms of the family aspect of your life, like how, when you gather with your family and having be in the field you are in, is it often something you have to tell them, and because you're putting your life online to a certain degree when you're out doing what you're doing. Does that have to come up in conversation about the impact of your job?
No. When I'm around my family, that's family time. We cut up. We go back to when we grew up. Is always cooking. We always I separate that. I don't bring my profession home with me. I never have, and I never will.
So you have, and that's a great thing, part of your personality, of being able to turn that on, to turn this off between that, especially when you can come from something when you demeanor wise, because you seem like, and people often feel like you have to not have a personality, you got to be stoic and almost like a shell of yourself in order to be in that kind of field, But how do you kind of split the difference between being a person who still shows up as a person as well as being taken seriously?
Well, I multitask careers. That's not the only thing I do. I'm a network engineer. I'm a telecommunication engineer. I'm a radio engineer. I'm a project manager now. I do personal protection and I do federal protection. So you got to make at any given time, I'm double dutching between these fields. So you're just not stuck in engineering lane. You're not stuck in federal lane. You're not stuck in protection lane. You double dutch. I like double dutching. I like multitasking. Is the switch part of it I like.
So when you're doing the portion of wearing the protection side of it, like how does one if someone says, okay, I'm tired of just doing the security work at the clubs, how do you now graduate to now being the person who's securing Michelle Obama?
Education.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be on that level. You have to up the game. You have to go through the schools. You have to get your licenses. It's not gonna happen. It's not. And then remember, once you get on these levels and once you get in that database, your name is in the database. And then once you start working in that professional circuit, you're in that circuit. So all the professionals that do what you do, they know, everybody knows, just like you're hosting. I'm sure you know other hosts.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all share stories. You share stories about your guests that you had come on, who was great. Was it a live audience? Was it, did you have to carry the interview? Do you want to have them back? So you can't, when you're a professional, when you do what you do and you're stamped at what you do, you can't front about it. You can't lie about it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to meet that person that really does that and is going to pull your card. So I can't sit here in front. One, Google me, you'll see all my stuff. So
that's right. Google him now.
But you can't front and lie about what you do.
Yeah.
And with that, with that experience that you're talking about, when that happened, it was like, wow. It was a wow moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, this is the first lady, right? It's the first Black president and stuff. So you don't know what to expect. So she did a campaign. I don't know if you remember. It's called A Day of Play. Mm-hmm. She did a campaign for all the obese children. She wanted everybody to go exercise.
Yes.
So she ran that campaign, right? Viacom, which I'm still am. I'm part of the executive protection unit for Viacom since 08, 07, 08. So Viacom has a lot of subsidiaries under it, all MTV, VH1, etc., BT. So Nickelodeon. So Viacom with Nickelodeon, I guess, sponsored. So Nickelodeon was like the kid show or the kid ground.
Yes.
Breaking conglomerate at that time.
Yes.
So she partnered with Nickelodeon.
Okay.
Nickelodeon is a subsidiary of Viacom.
Right.
Guess who works for Viacom?
You do, sir.
Me. Right? Follow the story. She needs, even though she has a Secret Service, which they did, but again, it's not their event. It's Viacom's. Viacom has its own executive protection unit. Guess who's on that executive protection unit?
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Guess who's serious about his profession?
Okay. So I see where that unfolds in terms of being in that role. So then how if being under executive protection for a company, is that something I can just get on LinkedIn and apply for if I've gone through all my certifications?
No, you got again, one school's not going to do it. You got to have that paperwork behind you. And if it happens, it happened. For me, it happened. Again, it didn't happen overnight. That goes with knocking on doors slamming in your face. And you keep applying, but when it happens, you're not going to mess up that opportunity.
Yeah.
So before that happened, I was doing multiple shows at that time. I think we was running, me and my team, because I wasn't by myself. You would have executive protection team. Me and my team, we had everything from sports to television, to movies, to record labels. We was protecting everything in that realm for about 4 to 5 years straight. So when you're in that realm, so okay, I give you a scenario. I don't drink or smoke, right? You go on tour with entertainers. You know what's on tour.
Yes.
Right? Okay. You're protecting the talent, the client, right? When they see you are serious about your job, after the day is done, you go back to your hotel room. They see, okay, this is just not the regular dude. He's not trying to hang out. He's not trying to be a groupie himself. He's not partying after that. Jamar was all business. Being that Jamar is all business, your name floats.
Yeah.
No, this is a serious guy. He's serious about his craft. This is what he do. You know, boom. So now it's word of mouth now. Oh, so-and-so needs a so-and-so. Okay, call Jamar. Because they know I'm coming there, I'm going to work, I'm going home. Because again, guess what I got to do? I got to go to work in the morning. See the double dutch?
Yeah.
This is not all I do. I got to go to work in the morning.
So right? you can actually hold this as a side job as well as still having another job.
Yes.
Well, that's a good thing to know for people.
How hard do you hustle?
Yeah.
How hard do you hustle? How bad do you want it?
Yeah.
So being that, you know, your name is circling now this opportunity comes up. This is the first lady. They just not gonna have Joe Blow on the first lady, right? So now the seriousness of your craft comes in. This is a serious guy that's about his craft, right? They called Jamar. And one of my brothers, Robert Young. So when we was introduced, when she got out of the car, she had on biker pants, sneakers, and a shirt wrapped around her waist. So we knew then, like, okay, so we just nervous, you know. And when she got out of the car, she was like, "What's up, fellas?" We just was like, okay. And she just was so warm and just like you've been knowing her your whole life. That's her spirit. That's her aura. The White House, because we met at the White House first before we started working. The White House, of course, had a spread. And she was just like, make sure y'all eat before we start working. And we was like, wow. And she ate with us.
Yeah.
Right? Where does that happen at?
Hometown girl.
Yes, she is very.
You can't fake that kind of personality at all.
No, it's not fake. So once she broke that kind of ice and made us feel like she knew us all our life, you know, the walking on eggshells went away. The scariness went away. The working with the secret service.
Right.
That went away. Now
do you get afraid? I mean, has it ever been a scenario in doing that you've gotten afraid?
Yes. You're afraid every day. You're afraid all the time. But guess what you do? You be afraid for a split second, you suck it up and you do what you do. You can't, Michael Jordan doesn't go on the court scared because he's playing Magic Johnson. He's going on the court to destroy. So, that's what real courage is to me. You're scared to death, but you go anyway. I'm going anyway.
You do it anyway.
Yeah. Do you know how nervous I was all day? I'm biting my nails. I'm talking to my brothers. I'm like, Kiana texting me, "You're going to be fine." And then once that camera game on.
You're ready.
The fear left. But was I scared all week? Yes. Was I scared to death? I didn't even sleep last night, tossing and turning, rolling. What are they going to ask me? What am I going to say? Man, how am I going to look on camera? You go through a million things in your mind and you are scared. But guess what? Get over it.
But that's such a great thing to own up on, because oftentimes, especially being a man, it's always, looked down upon to acknowledge fear or to accept that you get afraid of something. So to be, and especially being in a profession that you're in, that you can say that and still say that, but I still rise to the occasion, and that's what courage is.
Fear is a part of life.
Yeah.
Fear is a courage.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is always going to be there. Period.
So let me ask you, you do so much in life. You have a day job, another job, and doing this. Like, how do you balance it all? Like, how do you actually find balance in life?
It's no balance. You just go with the flow. You go have it. You go have it goes. If I get a call right now, I'm gonna.
Like, do you have, besides the work, do you ever just have downtime?
That's a good question, Shaw.
Yeah. I think downtime is when I finally get to go home and be around my family.
Okay.
But anything else is go time, is work, is multiple careers at one time. 7 days a week, basically.
Wow.
So when I do enjoy it. I do. When I'm home, I'm home. And I don't want to talk about that. That doesn't exist to me, because this is my downtime, because I'm always on the go. It's go, 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 go.
Well, you have done and accomplished so much in life. I know you. I mean, I'm assuming since you're not stopping anytime soon. Like,
No.
what other things and goals and aspirations do you have for yourself?
Well, I'll reveal it now. I'm officially a candidate to be an astronaut for NASA.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, for all your family and friends who are watching now, they're probably like, what else, Jamar? He can do. He can do it all. And that's so, I mean, if nothing else, and this is why this platform is such an amazing thing, because we want to show that everyone's life, no matter who you are, your name don't have to be in this light, that your life and journey is just as inspiring as anyone name you know already. And that's why it's important to see and hear your story, because it is so great to see that how you started out as a child who was like, education, but you persevered and you just kept going, and that you're still saying, I'm going to still keep doing it and still accomplishing these goals for myself.
Yeah, it's mind blowing that I have a master's degree. I don't believe in myself.
And now the candidate for an astronaut, like, come on, like.
and I have the same. It's sad. I have the same habits all the way in school. I still was a clown. Is the only thing with college is them grades better be right. So you can't play with the grades.
Yeah.
With college. Yeah. That's the only leverage. But have I been? I've been kicked out of. I think 4 schools I've been kicked out of.
Wow.
See, kicked out of school. I went back
and kept going. Though
kept on. But Jamar got kicked. Yes, I got kicked out of school because I failed out. 2, attitude and came into play, and that wasn't going to work with a educational institution. 3, and that was the 4th. I just was doing so much that I didn't have the time to complete the work. But I just said, you know what, this is a goal. Let me stop. I gotta go ahead and do this.
Well, everyone is so excited. The fact that you're still, dreaming bigger. Like, that's one of my biggest mantras in life, is to keep dreaming bigger and keep pushing forward. So everyone who's congratulating you, hopefully you can see the comments, and I know people are going to be reaching out to you below and congratulating you after the show as well. But if you had to, I guess, to define in your life in terms of, where you're going and to inspire others, what would you say, and to, pour into someone else as your grandfather had done for you when you were younger?
Like you said, when you encounter those people that just want to dim your light, get away from them as fast as you can. That's first and foremost. Don't let nobody dim your light. Dare to dream. I know I do. I dream every day. Dare to dream. And they're your dreams. Don't let no one shatter your dreams. They're not nobody else's dreams. They're yours. Dare to dream. Don't be afraid to try. Just try it. Just try. You don't know what's going to come out of it. Try. Don't be afraid to fail. Now, the key with failing, because you're going to fail in life, the key to failing is to fail forward. You can fail a million times as long as you failed on the other side. Now, if you failing backwards, you're in trouble. But if you just keep failing forward, one of those times, as you stumble, the stumble going to go to a hand catch. The hand catch going to come to a trip. The trip is going to come to, okay, I got it. Don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid and just, do it. And, you know, last but not least, make your parents proud and your family proud. Hi, Mom. But that's it. Like you said, run. Run from those people. Run for real.
More importantly, you are making yourself proud because you are doing so exceptional that I'm so proud to say that I know you and that that I know beyond the sky's the limit for you because you're going to be standing next to the moon soon.
Watch this. Watch this. I told Kiana and she was surprised. I said, I'm going to be your I'm going to be the first time second interviewee. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. When I come back from space, we doing this again.
I love it. I love it. So welcome back to come back and tell us of that journey because I know that before we know it's gonna be some other thing you got going on that you need to come back and tell us about. So we want to have you on again.
I cannot wait
when you do.
to come back. And thank you for having me again.
Oh, it was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And we had the sound effects of the round of applause and the screams and the shouts and all, but believe it coming from behind the scenes of everyone who's congratulating you. But thank you so much, Jamar, for joining us and Inspire and sharing your journey with us. We wish you the best and all the greatest in the future.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you. Jamar. And thank you to our audience for tuning in to watch Inspire, to listen to Jamar's story and his journey and the fact that he failed, but he fell forward and he kept persevering and he's still dreaming bigger and reminding everyone to keep doing that. And for those who've watched this show and you have felt like you've been an inspiration to someone, please email us and share your story with us and email us at inspirebyananas@gmail.com and share your story. Or if you know of someone who's been a great inspiration to you, please email us and let us know of their story so that they can come on and share their journey with us. And follow us, make sure you media. We're on IG and Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you follow us at Inspired by Anonymous so you can get updated on all our great interviews. But to support the show, we do all of this just to make sure that it's a platform to inspire our youth and to inspire those who need to be inspired. But to support the show, please do so by cash apping $ Kiana Tennant. And $ that's KEYANA Tennant. That's TE is right at the bottom of the screen, just in case you don't know how to spell it. TENNANT. Do so right now. You send $1, send $5. All the money that we get from donations goes right back into the show. And we thank you all so much for joining in each and every week to listen to the stories and journeys of others and how they've been inspired or been an inspiration to others. But until then, I am your host, Shah Hayes. And remember, we inspire together.